I'd love to hear some of it. Could you read us a portion of the book?
Yeah, I was going to read a little bit from the, a little bit that sort of explains where Cody's motivation came from to do this. He really started out wanting to be an engineer, changed his mind and wanted to be a writer, and then he decided that he was really best suited to be a business business educator. But a lot of this had to do with his experiences in college at Amherst as a student who didn't have much money. And I think this might be something that folks today and certainly students can relate to. So I'm going to read a little bit about his college days.
Great.
Money was a constant worry, and Cody devoted 2 chapters of his autobiography to his college finances. He had received a small pension from the death of his father and some back pension money as well, and he managed to save about $115. But after paying his first year's tuition of $50 and renting a room for $10 for the year, Cody had little left to live on. He described how close he came to starvation in his first term in college, living on potatoes and corn mush with a pint of milk a day, some bread, and an occasional egg. His first year's expenses, including tuition, were $319, and he earned the difference by a variety of jobs. Cody also received help from Julius Hawley Seeley, Amherst's president. Seeley was an Amherst graduate himself, who had worked as a missionary and as the pastor of the First Dutch Reformed Church in Schenectady, New York. In 1858, he returned to his alma mater as professor of philosophy, served as a member of Congress from 1875 to 1877, and assumed the presidency of Amherst in 1877. With Seeley's help, Cody received some financial support from an aunt who sent him $10 a month. Seeley also eventually hired Cody as his personal secretary, a job that helped Cody begin his career as an entrepreneur. The typewriter was just coming into mass production while Cody was in college, and he persuaded an uncle to advance him money to buy one for his job. Cody ended up acquiring a new Remington, which he also put to use in a class he was taking with rhetoric professor John Franklin Genung. Genung was lecturing from the notes to his soon-to-be famous rhetoric text, and Cody offered to type and reproduce Genung's notes in advance for the class. To do this, Cody constructed a hectograph, an early form of duplicating machine that used a glycerin-coated plate of gelatin to make copies. He collected 75 cents each from 100 students and reproduced Genung's notes as 4-page leaflets. He reported that he cleared $25 on this first publishing operation, and he went on to make another $11 copying a play for a nearby girls' school. By his sophomore year, Cody had received a scholarship, and he and another student even borrowed money to buy a boarding house. Becoming a property owner and landlord in his sophomore year provided sufficient financial security that Cody was able to devote his junior and senior years mostly to study.
Oh my, it sounds like the man could have gone in so many different directions.
He was really quite a sort of a workaholic and a non-stop writer. He wrote over 100 books, many of them kind of repurposing and republishing, bits of pieces in other ways. But he really worked non-stop from about the time he was 13 to when he was almost 90.